Hey guys, Derek and
Paula here.
From a guy, a girl, and a camper van. But if you've seen our last couple of videos, you'll know that we're not living in a camper van anymore. After 2 years almost living in our van, we finally saved up enough money and now we have just bought ourselves a house. And so today, we're gonna show it to you. Let's go for a tour.
Come on. So this is our little cabin.
So this is the front porch and the front door, but as you can see, there's not actually any steps right now coming down off the porch, so we're not using that as our front door right now. So instead, we're actually using the side door over here as our main door, because it does actually have steps.
Which is important to get in.
It is. Not only do those steps lead up to the side door, but they also lead to this little wraparound porch. And this is the back porch. We've got a couple of big French doors.
We can actually put our chairs out already.
Yeah, we've got some anti-gravity chairs that
were given to us.
Yeah, my mom and my stepdad gave us those. And back here is where the propane tanks are, because our furnace and our stove and our dryer all run on propane, which is pretty awesome because that's actually what we're used to in the van, so we know how all of that works.
Yeah. But look up, I'm super excited. We have a clothesline.
We sure do. And then this is our backyard. You can see over here we've got a couple of outbuildings. We've got a workshop that is actually heated with propane as well. It's got a little furnace. There's a wood shed and a garden shed. And speaking of gardens,
a garden. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what comes up. I've got some learning to do though, because a lot of times I can't tell the difference between a weed and a flower. But I've got lots of time to learn.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like the rest of our lives.
Yeah. And luckily, the owner left the tag in, because I wouldn't know, but these are daffodils. And then these little guys, I don't know if weed, flower, but they're pretty. They
are pretty. And here is where Vanessa's been for the past few days. She looks a little lonely out here. We sometimes look out our new windows in the new home and we see our old home. And we personify her a lot, so we tend to think that she's feeling a little sad. We're trying to hope that she's happy to be just sitting and relaxing for a change. But I think she misses us too.
Of course.
So we've got a lot more to show you outside, but first let's head inside and we'll give you a quick tour of our new little cabin. And then after that, we'll come outside and we'll show you the rest of the property. So welcome to our home. The tour doesn't take very long because it's still a pretty small cabin, but it's a heck of a lot bigger than our old home was in our very first video when we gave you a tour of the van. So this is our living room. We had some things in storage, but we were also lucky enough to have some really generous family members that gave us some secondhand furniture and some other pieces that helped fill it out a little bit. Plus, one of my good friends also lent us a TV that he had in storage and wasn't using, because he figured that anybody who has a new home needs a new TV to put in there as well. So now we can watch Netflix on there. We have our entire relationship so far have just used our computer as our television because we don't watch much TV, so that's pretty nice to have. So this is our kitchen. All of the appliances actually came with the home. This is a gas stove. It runs on the propane out back. We've got tons of counter space. We, for the past almost 2 years, have had about this much room on our counter. So this is pretty luxurious for us right now. And all of these cupboards to be able to store all kinds of things. We're gonna have to buy a bunch of new stuff just to fill them. Maybe not.
No.
Nice big fridge. We're used to a fridge that most people would consider to be like a bar fridge size. So this is a pretty big deal for us to have now too, with a freezer on the bottom as well.
And Derek and I love to cook, so we're super excited about the kitchen.
Yeah, we should hopefully have some fun cooking videos for you guys in the near future right here. And then this is our dining room area with a closet.
And let me show you the bathroom. If you remember in the first video, I was the one that showed you our original bathroom in the van. Come and see our new bathroom. So this is our new bathroom. I can actually spin in it. And another thing that a lot of people have been asking us
is, where the heck do you shower? Well, in the van it was pretty complicated, but now that we have a cabin, it ain't complicated at all. We shower right here in our actual shower. Plus we even have a jacuzzi tub, which we'll most likely never use, but it's there just in case.
So, no more fitness facilities, truck stops, community centers. Well, of course, unless we're actually on the road camping, which we still plan to do.
Absolutely.
Oh, and also, I can do laundry in my own home. So excited.
No more coin laundry for us.
No more coin laundry. Come and see the bedroom.
So in the bedroom, most of the walls are all of this natural wood, which just feels really comforting at night. Plus, the windows on both sides give us a lot of natural light. But this one in particular is really nice because it actually opens up towards the east. So every night we usually leave these blinds open so that in the morning we can wake up with the sunrise, which is a really cool, energetic way to greet the day. Over here we've got a nice big closet, but we're still trying to figure out how the heck to organize our clothes in there, so we're not going to show you that right now.
Yeah, it's a little messy.
So let's go upstairs and show you the loft.
So, this is my reading area. This is where I get to have a tea, or maybe a glass of wine.
Maybe a glass of wine.
And actually do a little bit of relaxing, maybe a little bit of reading, maybe I'll get back into my knitting, I'm not sure. But this is my little corner.
And over here is my little corner. Right now this is the office, this is where we got the computer set up. We've got our second monitor that we had in storage for the past couple of years. So it's nice to actually have that out now, especially for editing videos and doing work on. It's nice to have the dual display. Another window that we can look out to the outside and see some of our field and look at some of the turkeys in the morning and all the wildlife going by. It's really nice to be able to look outside while you're working. Eventually this space we'd like to turn into either the spare bedroom or maybe even the master bedroom. But for the time being, this is the office. And
we still haven't unpacked. So yeah. There's still some stuff over here that we're hiding. So the one thing I absolutely love is all the natural light. I hate heights, but this isn't so bad. I love being able to look down on our nice little home. It's fun.
And out these windows.
It's gorgeous.
Absolutely.
You see the sunset in those windows.
Yeah, the sunset's right over there.
Yeah.
And we've also got these fans up top, which are really helpful so far. They just circulate the air really well. And I think those are probably going to be pretty helpful in the summer once it gets really hot in here.
Yeah. As you can see, our ceilings are awesome. I think we overcompensated because we lived for 2 years pretty much in a space where the ceiling was right here.
Yeah, that's true. So we have a piece of broccoli up here. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but the previous owners had a bear skin hanging over this railing. And because we are not into hunting at all, we figured that the best way to rectify that situation was to have a big piece of broccoli sitting up there instead.
Plus we plan on growing quite a bit of broccoli.
That's right, exactly. All right, should we go check out the property?
Absolutely.
Okay. This is our basement door. It's technically classified as a crawl space, even though it's got about a 6-foot clearance. So we're going to be using it like a basement, but for the time being, there's only an access door from the outside, not from the inside. Let's go check out the backyard.
Yeah.
So we already mentioned that there's a yard here. We've got a number of these little trees that they've actually put little gardens around as well. And the previous owner, you can see she was very much into birdhouses. She's got a couple there, a couple on the ground. There's a few others that we found around the house, and also these 3 over here. I think we've counted about 10 or 12 of them so far.
We'll probably find more by those things. Some of them are actually pretty cute. This one looks like a little log cabin. It's even got a little chimney and some firewood. The birds can keep themselves warm in the winter, I guess.
It's adorable.
He was also somewhat industrious. So you can see here up in the air, we've got electricity and also water that he has running out to some of the outbuildings that we'll show you next. We are likely going to take this down as one of our first priorities because it's definitely not up to code and it's not really the look we're going for. We might actually bury it in a trench, but we'll figure that out later. And all of these bushes right here, by the way, are lilacs, and some of the buds are already coming out. Come on, take a look. And lilacs are one of Paula's favorite.
My favorite flower. One of my favorite flowers.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to these once they're actually in full bloom. That should smell really nice here for the couple weeks while they're out. The wife of the previous owners was really into birdhouses, but the husband was really into street signs. And so he's got a whole bunch of these scattered throughout the property. They're not really our style, so we're probably going to start pulling these down eventually. We saw enough road signs with our old home.
That's a good point.
Through our travels. So they actually had some cows and some chickens and I think even some ducks. And so they've got a little corral over here. And they even had a small little lean-to barn right over here that unfortunately burnt down, I think about a year ago is what we were told. But it was just a small little barn burnt right to the ground. You wouldn't even know it was there now except for remnants of the fire here. But that's okay because we're not going to be keeping any animals, so we don't need any of that stuff. And then right over here, this is a dry shed where they were storing their tractors. We don't have any tractors yet, though we hope to in the future. But for the time being, I think this bay right here is going to be where Vanessa gets to stay and rest for a bit while we're getting the property all sorted out and settled in, and then we're going to start working on her in here and fix up some of those rust spots and some of the paint and all of that kind of stuff that some of you have pointed out a number of times. So a bunch of wood that they've left here. They actually left the wood sheds completely full of wood as well, so we've got tons of wood. Throughout the property, we've also found some of this old antique farm equipment. This is an old roller, but there's a lot of other pieces of machinery that we've yet to identify. Those are ours now. I don't know that we're going to be able to use them, but they're kind of neat just for the history of the place. Here we've got the end of the hose that was coming through the air over there. I think we're going to be able to repurpose some of this hose as well, if it all still holds water, because we're going to need to, until we get a more permanent system set up to water our garden, we're going to need something to get water out here. So I think we might be able to use this for that.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Now we've got another building on our property that used to be the owner's hunt camp, but now we call it
the guest house.
Let's go look. So the guest house is not necessarily up to standards right now.
Far from it.
I don't think we'll get many guests. But you gotta have a vision. You gotta have a vision and imagine little planters, maybe a nice little screen door.
Maybe less of the office chair sitting over there rotting.
Exactly. Yeah, so let's take you inside and show you what we have to work with.
There you go.
Come on in. So, this is the guest house. So, we need to maybe, do a little bit of, I don't know, putting up of walls and ceilings. You can see they left us some furniture. This must be the bedroom.
So this was a hunt camp. The previous owners were pretty big hunters, and so they, by the sounds of things, used to have a lot of friends come out to do hunting, deer hunting in the fall. And so this was the bunk house where they would all sleep, and then this would be the rest of the living quarters, I guess. Yeah. So they obviously did a lot of cooking here. We found a lot of remnants of that. They even left some stuff in the stove for us, some of their paper plates and whatnot. They had electricity running out here from that cord that we showed you. This stove is it apparently still works, even though it's looking pretty rough, but it runs on propane. This leads to the woodshed. There's a little bit of wood left in here. That was just kind of rough storage. But then this is wonderful. This is the washroom. I guess more accurately, the outhouse. That is actually, I believe, an RV toilet that they've connected to a hole in the ground. So that'll be a fun cleanup someday.
I think I'll be busy in the house that day.
Yeah, I think so.
So, you want to show them where we're going to plant our garden?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Here.
So as we said, one of the biggest reasons why we wanted some property was because we wanted to be self-sufficient with our food. And so one of our main criteria was that we would actually have enough open space with good sun that we could put in a massive garden. And so we're going to start with I think probably a slightly smaller garden this year and then work our way up in the coming years. But we think it's probably going to go in here somewhere, and then it can kind of expand out into the field later on if we need to, and once we know a little bit more about what we're doing. But our property, this direction goes all the way to where those trees are. So we've got actually about 9 acres roughly up here where the open space is. There's some trees over there towards the road, but most of this is open field. And most of it seems to be fairly dry, good drainage, but a couple of the low spots you can see in here where these ruts are, it's a little bit wet there, but we're hoping that once it gets a little bit later into the season, that'll actually dry up. But the rest of it is nice and high and dry like this. These ruts are because we've already had some friends and family out and a couple of trucks out here, and unfortunately got one of them stuck in the field. So apparently living out in the country like this, one of the things that happens to everybody is you got to get your truck stuck in the field. So we've already crossed that one off our list.
Yeah, very successful with that.
Yep. So that's where we're going to start growing some of our food, but that's not the only reason why we wanted a lot of land. The other reason is because Paula and I, in the past, before we moved into our camper van, one of our biggest pastimes was actually hiking in the woods and, you know, going off for a week at a time and being alone in the wilderness. And so we want to really get back into that. And one of the things that we've always dreamt about is being able to do that on our own property. And so now we've got our own little forest that we can camp in whenever we want. So let's show you that.
And we've come equipped with rubber boots. Let's do it.
So one nice thing about the previous owners being hunters is that they've actually already prepared a bunch of trails throughout the property for them to get back to where they used to do their hunting. We are going to be using those just for hiking and maybe some trail running and just getting back and enjoying our own little natural paradise.
Can't wait for all the leaves to start coming out on the trees.
Absolutely. There's a couple of nice big poplar trees.
They're huge.
Most people don't really like poplar all that much. It's funny, poplar isn't that popular. But I personally think that they're actually quite pretty once they get that big. But then, I pretty much like all trees.
And we are a little different.
Yeah, we are a little different.
We have butterflies on our property.
That's awesome. So we've got a lot of poplar, but we've also got a lot of these cedars, which most people know because of cedar fences. We've also got quite a few birch trees, which is great for starting fires, building canoes. Yeah, we're gonna build a canoe. Did I not tell you that?
No. Does that hurt the tree by me doing that?
No, not that outer piece. Oh, sorry. Sorry. There.
We take care of each other when we're in the woods, somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming up on one of my favorite spots on the property. It's got a nice big apple tree, so I can't wait for the blooms to come out on that.
It's just up here past this yield sign.
Here it is. Love it. Love it, love it.
Paula's been talking about putting out a picnic table or something that we can come and have lunch underneath the apple tree.
Yeah.
2 apple trees.
2, yep.
So the first time we came to look at this property, these 2 trees were actually in full bloom, and it was absolutely gorgeous.
I love old fences like that.
Absolutely. So up here, there's a bit of almost a ravine, I guess. It's quite a bit of sand in this area here. And so they actually dug out this big section. We think they did that because they were taking some of the sand out of the ground in order to use it whenever they were building the house to cover over the septic tank and stuff like that. So there's a fair amount that was taken out of this section here. So kind of pulls you out of the natural look a little bit, but it also, I don't know, it's kind of fun to walk through it. It makes it a little interesting.
Is that under all our property?
Not all of it. There's a few spots that are really sandy like this.
That's just like a beach.
Yeah, it is, eh? So some of the people in the area actually sell some of the sand from their property. I don't know that we would do that, but it's interesting to know that it's an option.
Oh, something lives in there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, somebody's making a home. So it's actually kind of interesting to see this. We're lucky to have this cross section here because of all the digging that they did. So back here in this section of the forest, we've got maybe a foot. This is hanging down a bit. So yeah, probably about a foot of topsoil. And then underneath it is just nothing but all of this completely fine sand. So it's kind of cool to be able to actually see all the roots that are coming through it. Luckily, out in our fields, we've got a lot more topsoil than this. But having the sand underneath is apparently really fantastic for drainage, so we hopefully shouldn't have too much standing water or soggy roots or anything like that. And here it's kind of covered up a bit, but there's actually a little turkey track right here. Kind of see the 3 toes and then its back toe. We've got a ton of turkeys. We've noticed in the mornings, our field, we can see from our back porch, there's a huge flock of turkeys, probably about 16 or 17 turkeys we've counted almost every morning. And we haven't actually seen any deer yet, but we've seen lots of deer tracks. Some of them that look, pretty fresh. If we see one, we'll point it out to you. Here's some more of this old fence.
Love, 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 love. Remnants.
There you go. I think that might be
Raccoon?
that's deer, I think. Pretty sure.
I really don't know.
Well, you'll get to know.
I will learn.
And we're not 100% sure. I think some of these trees might be ash. We'll have to figure that out once the leaves come on the trees a little bit more.
But we have a tiny little stream on our property.
And we've got a little creek here. A lot of little minnows and tadpoles swimming around over there. So we're not sure how deep this will be in the like dead of summer. It might dry up a little bit, but we're hoping that it sticks around because it's nice and peaceful to hear the trickling of the water. And here is a tree stand. There are 3 that we found so far on the property. We actually passed one already that was over by that apple tree. It was just a small one. We'll maybe show you that another time. But this one is pretty obvious. You can't miss this one. It's huge. And they put a lot of work into it. This they obviously built out of cedar logs that they took from the forest. But they even put spray foam in between each of them for insulation. They got a little roof on it. They put a lot of work into that. Now it's our tree fort.
Awesome. What was this for, I wonder?
This, I think, was probably the stairs going up to a temporary tree stand that they could put up between these 2 trees. You got this.
Sure do.
So they'd put a foot there and then there, there.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh. You want a hand? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't try this at home.
Aw.
Careful, if I broke one, you could break it too.
Yep.
Do you want me to lift you down now? That's my guy. That was fun.
Yeah. So back here we've got a little bit of a wetland just through these trees. And whenever we come back here at night, the frogs It's amazing, the chorus of their chirp. So we haven't actually explored out that way yet, but that eventually goes out past our property line. That one and over there. A bunch of trees that the beavers have chewed up over the years. It's nice to have a little bit of the wetland. I like to know that we've got some habitat for some frogs and turtles and a lot of the more aquatic life out here as well.
Yeah.
But luckily it only takes up a very small section.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we want to be able to use the rest of it without having to always wear rubber boots.
But I like my rubber boots.
I know you do. Your orange boots.
My orange boots. Oh, look. See this?
Mm-hmm.
It's a paw print.
Yep, it sure is a paw print. Yeah, there's been paws in these parts. You weirdo.
I am weird.
So we've got a lot of maple leaves on the property. So where there's maple leaves, there's usually maple trees. So I'm looking forward to once the actual buds start coming out, then we can start identifying a little bit more of exactly what species we have and how many and where. One of our hopes is that we'll have enough sugar maple that we can actually make some maple syrup maybe next year. That'd be pretty fun. Some spruce up there as well. Here's another one of the tree stands that are on the property.
Gosh, look at this tiny little tree. That's adorable. It's the size of, not even the size of my hand. There's another little one there too. It's a perfect shape.
And this little trail actually takes us on a bit of a loop, brings us back to the apple trees that Paula loves.
And we're back.
So in total, we have 51 acres of land. We've got 9 acres of cleared land where the cabin is and our field. That's where all of our gardens are going to be. And we've also got about 42 acres of mixed forest. We've got cedar trees, spruce trees, pine trees, maple trees. I think we've got some elm and ash in there as well, poplar, birch. We've got a little bit of everything, which is exactly what we wanted.
Yep.
Now here we are back at the guest house. And that pretty much concludes our tour for now. Once we explore the interior of our forest a little bit more, we'll show you what we find in there as well. But for now, we've got a lot of work to do in order to get our gardens ready and our little homesteading. So the adventure continues, so stay tuned.
Definitely.
There's a tree here, a dead tree that fell and has knocked down all of these guys. So we're gonna have to clean all that up. I'm not sure what we're gonna do about that yet, but gives me a good excuse to break out the chainsaw. I didn't have anything else to say.
I'm like, okay, I'm waiting.